Well, Carla, how many years now have you been performing, and how many more years are you going to be performing?
Well, I've been doing the sway pole act for 48 years now. I did tightrope in that when I was a little child. And, well, let's see, I'm 77 now. In February I'll be 78. Oh, maybe another 22 years. I can, Lord willing, I'll perform as long as I have the strength. And
Right. Now, looking back on your life, your amazing career, can you kind of take us back to when you first started and what inspired you to first become involved and how your career developed from there?
Well, of course, my career, I was a little child and my parents and all my family were out there doing it. And I was like already mimicking bows and that when I was a year old. And I was a little over a year old when I'd be trying to climb up on the 2-foot wire in the backyard and taking a broom with me, like trying to use it for a balancing pole. And that's when my parents said, well, we better build her own pole. And that, my grandpa built me my pole. And then by the time I was 3, I was already performing on my own on the tightrope. And I did the tightrope act all the years, performing with my family. Only summertime or like winter holidays I could go and perform. I had to go to school, which of course I didn't think was necessary, but when you grow up you find out, actually, like putting up your equipment and everything, there's a lot of mathematics to it and all of that, and then there's the contracts you gotta read.
That's right. Well, tell us about your family, the amazing Wallenda family. Tell us about the early years and your father and some of the memories you have.
Yeah, my father and mother came over from Germany in 1928, and my father is the one that invented pyramids on the wire. People had never done that before. Nobody had ever seen that before. And actually they were performing in Havana, Cuba, when Mr. Ringling had gone over there and discovered them, and he immediately contracted them and brought them to America. And then the only act in history that ever stopped the show in Madison Square Garden for 15 minutes with the ovation, applause, and everything, which is, I mean, a great thrill for me to hear about that, my parents doing that. And of course, I always watched them, and that's all I wanted to do. I had never ever had any other idea that I wanted to do anything else. And then my aunt did the sway pole act, and I was in the wire act, and I watched every show she did. I mean, I had every movement down and everything. And I admired her, and she was my favorite aunt too. We got along really good. Of course, when she got killed, it was great shock and loss to all of us.
What do you consider to be the most memorable moments of your career and performing over all these years?
Well, I think all the shows are a thrill when I get out there from the people, and the louder they holler and applaud, the better I feel. But like working in Mexico City, over there, circus performers are more, it's like a big art thing. You know, the red carpet and all of that. And I'd get flowers in the ring after the act. And then they have live bands in the show over there. And they play a song like they play for the bullfighters. That, you know, the bullfighter was really good, and I'd have to come out from behind the curtain one time, 6 times I had the ovation. That was a thrill.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you're 77 this year. What things do you do in your life to stay so physically fit and so good at what you do?
Well, of course, when we're home, my husband sets up the pole, but I call it my baby pole, only 70 feet high.
70 feet.
And I try at least 5 days a week to climb, at least climb up and down it. And once or twice a week I'll go through the routine. But if I don't use it, I might lose it, so.
Right. So when you get on top of the pole out here at the Space Coast State Fair, can you share with us, you know, some of the thoughts, some of the feelings you have when you're up there and you look down at all the people looking down at you, up at you?
Oh yeah, the people are very tiny. And at nighttime, all of these lights from all these rides and everything is like a big, beautiful kaleidoscope going around. And then, of course, I look around the view in the daytime. I can see for miles and miles. And
Right. I know one of your lines is you get halfway up and you look out there for garage sales. Isn't that what you're doing?
oh yes, and believe it or not, sometimes I have found garage sales in that. And I come down, and Mike can tell by the look in my eyes. I want money, I'm going.
Well, you have the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen, Carla, so that's probably why. So what message do you have for people out there, your fans, people watching you and trying to emulate the things that you do and your spirit in life? What message do you have for people who are watching?
Well, of course, don't try this at home, but
Yeah.
but like the people, too many people when they get older and that, they just put it in their mind that they're getting old and that they can't do things and that, and I said, no, go for it, you know. Run around, and because I saw it in my own mother. I mean, she quit working, but she was very active. She was a volunteer with the Red Cross and the ladies this and the Show Folks Club, and she'd fly to Europe and visit shows and fly to visit me, and she kept active. And then when she turned into her 80s, she started sitting in front of the TV and not doing much, and downhill she went from that. So that's the main thing, is you just keep moving, stay active, go places, do things, and like I say, if you're not working anymore, do volunteer, because you gotta stay, your brain's gotta stay active too.
Well, Carla, we can't thank you enough for being here again on the Space Coast. You're an American treasure. People love you. They write to us all the time about how much they enjoy watching you. What an inspiration you are to so many people. We also want to thank you for coming out to our Seniors Day tomorrow. Every year you support that, so thank you, and please keep coming back.
Lord willing, I will. I enjoy it so much here.